Sports Pueblo, 1350. This is the John Wristen Show, brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's join the voices of the pack, Jim Brooks and Joe Cervi, along with CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves head coach, John Wristen.
Wow, that is hot. Why is that? Man, oh man, why did that happen?
Duck.
I'm going to say, what am I going to say? I'm going to say, what do you say, what do you know is what I'm going to say, but that was hot coming in there, Striker. Welcome to the John Wristen Show, everybody. Maybe it should be that way. The last show of the year, we can't get it straight here, but it is the final show. We're not going to sit here and cry, though. We're not going to sit here and mope. We're going to celebrate another great season. RMAC championship. Sometimes you just run up against a dog. It's a little tougher on that day, and you hope you get another shot at that dog another day. But that's what happened on Saturday. John, welcome to the show. First thoughts. We'll let you go ahead and pontificate on how the ball game went.
Do what?
Get Google. I tried to match Joe. Joe came up with a word the other day that I had to Google, so I thought I'd come up with a word.
Well, I thought Saturday was what we've done to so many opponents that are really good, and we got the roles were reversed on Saturday, and credit goes to Grand Valley and the way they played. It was well coached, and they got after us a little bit, and we weren't able to. I said in the post game, we weren't able to get any traction on it. We're always on the back, sliding and trying to move forward, and we were behind, and it started from the kickoff to the end of the first half. And so really after the first half we kind of played better, and but we were so far behind we weren't able to make up anything.
I think emotionally it shows. So many times you see in a big game, we see it all the time in Super Bowls or NFL games. You don't have to look no further than the Seattle-Minnesota game. You get hit in the mouth sometimes. Sometimes you stay back for a little bit. It takes you a little bit while to recover, and you're down 21-0 in that ball game. Got the touchdown to make it 21-7. Then I thought you had a real big shot. Almost got that punt return. That would have been a crazy play. If you get that one down the sideline, if you get one block there up the sideline or a little hesitation from a guy that knows how to run back kicks maybe to hesitate, get a touchdown there, or you take it in there to start the second quarter from midfield, get it to a 21-14 ball game, then things might have changed. But I think that interception kind of took some more starch out of you for that quarter.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Jim. On the sidelines, I was just hoping that we could get to 21-14 at halftime, or we could keep it 21-7. And we're having trouble. We're blocking them. But then the holes were closing so fast, and we weren't able to throw the ball for multiple reasons, and so that made us one dimension. And you've heard me say a lot of times our goal on defense is to make guys one dimension, and that's what happened. And we just weren't able to overcome it and get it to a fighter's chance we had a chance when it was 21-7, and I was hoping we could get it to 21-14 at best to be able to do that, and we just weren't able to do it. And they were able to take that big halftime lead and just kind of maintain in the second half.
Well, then we questioned it on the air. Weren't sure what happened. You might as well tell the listeners what happened on the coin toss. I know it's not the fact that you wanted to go into the win. Something happened, kind of made the cool hand Luke thing. We had a failure to communicate.
Well, that starts with me. And I believe that I always try to tell the officials, and I try to tell our captains what we want. And obviously I didn't make it very clear to our captain. And so that falls on me, and that put us in a hole in the very beginning. And in those big games, you can't have those mistakes. So that's why, in my mind, I was telling officials what we wanted. I told them right before, if we win the toss, we want to defer and we want to kick towards the field house. Well, obviously that didn't happen, and so again, that falls on John Wristen's leadership and being able to communicate with the guys, and so never assume anything, and that's kind of what happened with that.
And then they hit you over the top on the first play from scrimmage with a pass. Now that puts a little fear into your defense, I'm sure, say, well, man, we got to watch that pass now. So then it opens up so it works when you're starting to worry about the run, they hit you with the pass, you worry about the pass, hit you with the run. It's kind of like you talk about being able to play fast. When you're thinking, you can't play fast, can you? Well,
and it really happened. Our corner kind of squatted a little bit, and he didn't turn and run with it. And so you watch it on tape that it was a well-thrown ball. And if we would have ran and caught up with him, and maybe that might have been a little different when he could play his hands, as Coach Leo teaches. But those are things that happen in big games, and you get kind of exposed. We get exposed because of a poor decision on the coin flip, and then we get exposed because we didn't do the right technique, and all of a sudden now you're down 7. And so big games, you get exposed on your mistakes.
And then make no mistake about it, we could talk about some of the things that maybe the Thunderbolts made as mistakes, but that was a pretty darn good outfit that came in here.
I think that was the best team we played, to tell you the truth. I think that quarterback was as good as anybody I've seen, in a long time. And, I thought we had a pretty good matchup with their offensive linemen, but they were on a mission. They blocked us, and we stayed blocked, and we couldn't get off blocks. And we weren't always in the right gap, and that really magnifying that whole issue. And on offense, we're creating some holes, but those holes were closing, and we weren't able to go take advantage of the one-on-one on the outside like we'd like to. And so that was a well-coached team. It was a well-trained team and a very good-looking team.
Well, people ask me all week, Monday, what happened? I said it. I think I said it on the air, and I think I've talked to both of you about it. That's the best team I've seen on that field that's not a Thunderbolt team, period. And not just because they could do whatever they wanted. They could run, they could throw. Their special teams were excellent. You could tell they were well coached. You could tell they were well prepared. And I think that sometimes there's a difference between being well coached and well prepared. You still got to make the plays as a player if you're well prepared. But these guys knew what was coming. They knew what to do. They knew they had a zig for every zag, and they were bigger than I thought they were. They were faster than they looked on because they've been playing on the road. And I'll tell you what, that's the best team I've seen at the Thunderbolt.
Well, I agree with you, Joe, and it was one of those things. I think that their offense and defensive line controlled that tempo of the game, and we brag about the things that we do in our program. Well, we got done what we like to do, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, exactly. You were the nail instead of the hammer.
And so, it was very humbling. It was very you felt hopeless, and you just wanted to make sure our kids just kept playing hard and kept doing their job and doing those things, and we got beat by a better team on Saturday.
I was walking down to the field after the game to go to do post-game interviews, and one of the assistant coaches from Grand Valley was standing next to me, and I looked at him and I go, how'd you guys lose 2? And he goes, tell me about it. And I said whoever won that game will win this week and make it to Kansas City. I don't know. We always thought West Georgia, Northwest Missouri State, csu-pueblo, those were the top 3 teams in the country. And I'm thinking Grand Valley's as good as any team in the country.
I would...
Yeah.
I would endorse that statement so much.
You have first-hand knowledge, Coach.
I have first-hand. I still got a bruise on my chin from getting knocked out by those guys.
Well, we could all say that, but there's a team sitting there in West Virginia. They're pretty good. And something might happen. They might just come out and play a great game, and Grand Valley might put it on the ground. They're going to play the game. Last time I checked, and they could get beat. Anybody's beatable. Found out they're beatable twice this year. Tiffin had them beat a 5-6 team late in the game until they came back. So nobody's invincible in this thing, and we know about it. We found out.
Right. That's the great thing why you play the game, like you just said, and it's played in a 60-minute span, and you get a chance to prove yourself. And so, but I think if they're healthy and their quarterback's healthy, those receivers are big, strong, and healthy, and their running backs, even though the first one got hurt, they're put their foot in the ground and go north and south. And I really think this Grand Valley team's on a roll. we talked about in playoff football, it's not necessarily the best team. It's a team that's on a roll and who's gotten hot. And I think Grand Valley is definitely that team.
Well, and I think you said it in the post-game press conference upstairs in the Thunder Bowl. They asked Coach Wristen, so your impressions of this Bart Mitchell, did you think he was that good? And John honestly said, we thought he was a good quarterback, but he was great today. And the difference between good and great were some of the passes some of the windows he put balls in,
right,
were those big-time throws. Not just good throws, but big-time college football throws.
And, we weren't able to really make him move his feet. He was comfortable in there in that first half. He had plenty of time to throw it. And it was one of the best throws, in my opinion, was the first one was pretty good. But on that third drive, we're coming, and the linebacker's running with the guy vertical, and he drops it right over, and our safety can't get it. I mean, it's only place you could put it, and it was very impressive.
Well, then their third down run, when you go back and look at plays in the game that really decided it, I thought there was a couple of 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12 plays when you could have got off the field and couldn't get it done. And that's probably, when you look back on it, if we make a play there on defense, maybe something happens. Yeah,
we went to nickel and expecting a pass, and they ran it and got 15 on us and got the first down. And so, that, like Joe alluded to, that they were a well-schooled team that knew how to execute. And when that happens, you got to be on point. And when you're talented like that, it makes it even tougher. And that's what we faced Saturday.
They averaged 10 yards a play in the first half. I mean, that's a first down every time they touch the ball. And I think where I was the most surprised was I don't think I'd ever thought I would see a team run the ball against that defense like they ran the ball. And they did it effectively in the second half, too. Maybe not to the extent that they did in the first half, but it was their scheme was the perfect scheme against that defense, and it worked to perfection.
Yep, they got us.
Yeah.
It was one of those things you tip your hat to them, and treat them with a bunch of class, because they got us, and there's no if and buts about it. There's no excuses. They got us, and it was. Did
you get along with Coach Mitchell, right? I mean,
we're cordial.
And he's not one of those guys that you'd rather not talk to ever. There's a lot of coaches out there that are like that.
Well, I have a lot of respect for what he's done. I mean, he's in a tough situation there, but he's got a great setup for him, and he's made the most of it.
All right, John Wristen Show. We are here at Andy Mack's, and you know what? We're just going to talk about good stuff after this.
Oh, yeah.
We got this out of the way. My wife asked me, Lorelai's like, well, how are you going to treat the show? I go, well, honey, you got to talk about the game a little bit. But now we come back after the break. We're going to celebrate what was another great season, talk about some of the players who have played their last game for the Thunderwolves, and then look to the future as well. And talk about the schedule maker. Who came out with that schedule, the first game at Mines next year? I don't want to talk to that person, but might as well get it out of the way right away. Let's go get Mines. I'm ready for it.
Got to play them sooner or later.
Let's just do it right away and get it out of the way. All right, Andy Mack's, John Wristen Show. Come out and join us. Still plenty of time. And we'll be back after this timeout on Fox Sports Pueblo.
The John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo, 1350.
To the left. Both tight ends are up on the wing. They're going to hand it to Cam. Gets it outside. Tries to turn the corner. Cuts back in across the 35, 30. Up the sideline. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Cameron McDonald. And the Thunderwolves back out on top. Another signature run by Cameron McDonald.
What? Well, there's one guy right there, Cam McDonald. Played his last game as a Thunderbolt, but what a dynamic, great career for Cam McDonald for the Thunderwolves, setting records, 2,000 yards for 2 straight years. It'd be hard to replace a guy like that, Johnny.
I don't think you ever replace a guy like that. I mean, the runs that he made this year and his heart and desire, and, we kind of rode him. We put it on his back, and he responded, and, you just got to... Sometimes you're lucky to coach a guy like that, and I've been very fortunate to have him in our program, and he's a great Thunderwolf, and just really, really excited about what the future holds for him.
Well, we got a lot of questions coming in here. 719-671-7574. 719-671-7574 if you want to text me a question. Joe's got one.
Well, let's just talk about Cam just a little bit. You know how the system works. You know how the game is played. What are his chances at the next level?
Well, I think the chances are, remember, it only takes one.
Right.
And I think there's going to be one team that will take a chance on him. Once he gets into camp, I think he's going to separate himself and show him what he can do. So I think he's got to understand that he might be just a third down back and use him out of the backfield. Or he might be a normal down guy. And so, but I think he's hard to tackle. I think he's got enough burst to him that it's really going to be unique to see him be able to have a chance to compete.
And he's got that I don't want to. It's a terrible way to say it, but he's got that football IQ. I mean, we hardly ever talk about it because he has the speed and ability, but he knows how the game is played and how to play the game, and I think that he's grown into that over the next couple of years.
I thought this year from last year he did a great job of understanding where his blocks were coming from. I thought Sammy Sewell did a great job of teaching him. I think our scheme with Gordy Shaw was able to help him, and he was able to take it to another level.
Well, one of the questions coming in, staff changes. What kind of staff changes do you anticipate, John? Do you have any knowledge of people that are definitely not going to be back, or is that too soon to tell, or is everything starting to hash out already, or have you got a heads up from anybody? Tell us about it.
I haven't checked the transactions today. Do you guys know something more than I do?
No, that's one of the questions coming in here.
It's too early. I think that we have a very talented assistant coaching staff, and my job is to help them move on and whatever they want to do. And I really I hope there's no changes, but I do hope that every one of my assistant coaches have a chance to reach a goal, and my job is to help them go reach their goal, and if I can do that, I will. Right now, we're putting our head down and trying to get better for 16, and we're out recruiting and trying to make sure that we bring the quality guys that we've had and be a part of this special program. And so, right now, I don't anticipate any changes.
When's the big coaches farmers market for coaches, the AFC? It's a farmers market for coaches because every coach in the country goes there and they go to all these.
It's called a convention.
It is a convention, but it's a farmers
I just thought I'd explain to you it's called a convention, not a farmers market.
But they pick and they choose, and they got a guy here who got hired. He's got a staff opening, and this guy goes here, and then the tumble. It's just like dominoes. Some guy goes here, and then there's an opening. And when is that?
But that happens
every year. No, not.
It doesn't happen just at the convention. No, it happens no matter where you are. But that's
kind of where they go. And
most of the jobs are filled by the time the convention starts. So
when is that?
That is second week in January.
Okay. Texas, San Antonio?
Yeah, it's in San Antonio. So,
So if you're still needing coaches by then,
they just
cast a problem. But last year that kind of happened for you. You went down there and you did find a couple at the farmers market.
At the farmers market,
a little green chili. It's the farmers market.
I brought in the peaches from Palisades, so we're trying to get that. And then Anaheim chili we got here.
All right. Now, this question kind of dovetails with what you talked about before. With several players in key positions graduating, do you consider next season to be a rebuilding year or a reloading year?
I think that I'm going to be able to describe that after spring football. And I really think we have to go through our phase one, which is our weightlifting part of that. And our phase two is we add in our Dirty Dozen and our competition and our mental toughness part of that. And then phase three is spring ball. And after phase one and phase two and phase three, I'll get a better idea where we are. I do think we have some talented players that my job is to get them to understand how to win and what they have to do to win. And so I'll see the progression through the phase 3 before I'll be able to answer that question.
Okay, 719-671-7574, 671-7574 if you want to text a question into John. I got a listener who wants to know condition of Dustin Walton. I guess he got hurt in this ball game and a little bit of a scare there. Want to describe his condition?
I didn't know it until after the game, and he got hit kind of right in your midsection where you got folded over forward, and got knocked back and hit the turf pretty hard. And he had a severe concussion, and I believe he did some medical tests, and he does have a concussion, but nothing serious at that point.
And as far as you know, he's coming back, right? Okay, that's
hard-hitting game. They had a kid break their leg.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this was on the winning team. Kid broke. They had guys going off left and right.
Right.
And as a testament, that freshman came in and was dynamite. Now we had him listed as a true freshman. But I read in one of their follow-up articles, he's a redshirt freshman. If it makes a difference at all, but he's still a freshman.
Sure. And even Bart Williams left for a couple plays because he got hit pretty good.
Some good hitting in that ball game. Here's a next question. This one just came in here. Does Dixie State and South Dakota School of Mines begin football play in the RMAC next season?
Yes, they do. And so we have, I believe, one non-conference game, and that's West Texas, and that will be our second game. And we open up with School of Mines up in Golden on right now September 3rd, I believe. And I didn't know that until I wasn't having looked at the 16 schedule until
I did.
I saw your article on Sunday.
Well, I would think there'd be a chance that
could be
one of the that could be moved. That could be moved to a Thursday night game. Because that's quite a matchup to start the year at the new stadium and with the matchup going in.
It's kind of your schedule's kind of. It could be good or bad. You have there's a couple of back-to-back home games, back-to-back road games, back-to-back home games, back-to-back road games, and that's usually not the case. It's usually home, road. And, we're going to go back to spearfish.
Good.
Yeah. So we can get food poisoning again.
Exactly. Stay away from the nachos,
stay away from the nachos.
Same, listen, you kind of addressed it. How will that affect scheduling of non-conference games? Well, these new schools coming in, it takes away a non-conference game, but you'll still have the West Texas game.
Right now we'll have one game, and that'll be West Texas.
Now, is there a chance where you will drop down to just 10 games, or do you always have the option of playing a non-conference 11th game if you can get it?
I like to play 11.
Well, I know you would, but I mean, is that always going to be an option?
Yes, I believe so. I think there still has to be. There's a lot of things that have to be sorted out here. I mean, there's rumors about Adams State going to Lone Star, and what I've heard that it's pretty serious. It's not just a rumor, and so what that does, it throws everything out the window, and you got to readjust, and it'd be like it is now, where you have a 9-team RMAC schedule with 10 teams total, and I kind of like that. I like being able to go play. But the trouble out here in the West, it's tough getting games and travel-wise, and so those are the things that we got to work out.
Well, and just to piggyback, just because I had this conversation with Coach Mitchell from Grand Valley the week prior to the game, he said they had some scheduling issues, and they said no matter what, we will play 11 games, because in the eyes of the committee, which you were on, that is a big thing.
Right. And I think when you can get a non-conference opponent and be able to play them, you got a comparison. Everybody wants to compare, and everybody was, like I told them when we got to playoffs, we were comparing Mesa to Grand Valley.
Yeah.
Get in.
Yeah.
And
guess not.
there was a little, rumbling that Mesa should have been in, and I brought it up, and Mesa's strength of schedule and everything was just a couple points less than Grand Valley, and Grand Valley's losses were to 2 undefeated teams.
Right.
And
the Bessemer line on that would have been 40.
Well, after you saw the game, maybe even going in.
I don't know. Grand Valley's tradition.
After seeing them, and thinking about what they've done, and
we tried to compare Midwestern to Mesa. Sort of that common opponent deal, and
that's probably why they went to overtime.
Well, but it's John's not a common opponent guy. It gives you good film, but can't really base it on anything because it's not true to form.
Right. And, sometimes in the committee, those guys look at that.
Right.
And your schedule strength is very important. When you play everybody in the league, you're going to be about 500. Everybody's going to be about the same 500 if you win the games, and you're supposed to, and your strength of schedule is all the same. So if you throw one guy in there that's has a pretty good record, it'll give you a chance to have a winning percentage.
It's kind of fun to go to the Central Washington, Humboldt, Azusa Pacific, those kind of. I think the West Texas rivalry with CSU-Pueblo, I think that's just a great matchup every year. I think that should be just permanent, because I think that's just a fun program. It's an easy drive. They're good people. They compete, and then find that other one. Go to Azusa or someplace like that, and just because they're out here. Right.
Well, you'd have to get a charter. Yeah. You have to get a plane to be able to do that.
Jofo, just dial it up.
Yeah. Way to go. Way to go.
Before we go to break here, we should also celebrate the East Eagles winning a state championship.
How about that? First time any prep high school here in the state or in Pueblo that's won back-to-back state championships in over 100 years, forever.
Right.
And what a congratulations to Lee Meisner and his staff. They did a great job, and the East Eagles, they have a great program, and it was sure nice to show off that someone won a championship.
Yeah, half and half that Saturday.
Well, they did it with some flair too. That's a fun outfit.
Yeah.
Just watching some of the plays in that ball game, the laterals and the interceptions, block punt, they score in any number of ways, and it was just kind of cool. And a lot of guys on that. I don't know if there are a lot of guys, but a couple guys on that ball club you've got your eye on. We'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, they got some real good players.
All right, we'll take this time out. You got a question for Coach Wristen? 719-671-7574. You'll get right in. I've exhausted what I've got. Well, I haven't gone to Messenger yet, but as far as the text, 719-671-7574. If you know Joe, you can text Joe a question as well. Write to him personally.
Yeah.
With a certain panache. And if you know John, you can send him one directly, too, if you want, all for that matter. We're thinking about dinner here. We're thinking about our cold one after, and we have our cordon bleu balls. We've got the jalapeno bites. John, what are you going to want for dinner tonight? You stick with pizza and wings?
I don't know what
we might go something different. We might go the dirty tacos. Do something like that.
We can break routine.
Exactly. Start over.
We can start all over.
All right. We are at Andy Max on Fox Sports Pueblo.
The John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
O'Malley in there now to play fullback here. It's an I formation. Cam is the I back. Tight formation here. Pitch it left side to Cam. And he's hit, bounces off and into the end zone. Touchdown! He was hit at the 5-yard line, bounced off the tackle, and got it to the corner.
And welcome back to Andy Max, John Wristen Show. Final edition for 2015, but we're having some fun. Got a bunch more questions right there during the break, John. They responded 671-7574. But before we go to the ones that just came in, got one I've been saving here for the, just to line up for you here. It's from our favorites, Madison and Abigail.
Oh.
Now, we know they throw you some hard balls sometimes. You've got to really dig deep here for some of these answers. This is a very important question. Rochelle probably want to know. Since the season ended earlier this season than last year, do you think you will have time to get all of your Christmas shopping done before Christmas this year?
Well, that's a challenge right now, and I haven't even thought. We're trying to plan everybody's Christmas and where we're supposed to be, and Mom's calling to figure out when we're going to do it, and everybody else is doing it, and sooner or later I'll figure out what I'm supposed to go get and do.
Amazon.
So yes, thank you. Last year it was quite the challenge, and it was kind of fun though.
Everybody got Walgreens gifts.
Everybody got a lot of gift cards.
Those ones that are out in the aisle that you bump into. Oh, that looks good.
John went to Walgreens. Everybody got little things.
Joe, please don't give my.
All right, I think Coles is good for that too, right out in the aisle too.
I would like to know what Abigail and Madison want for Christmas.
Okay, you've heard the challenge there, Madison and Abigail. What do you girls want for Christmas, other than a 2016 national championship for the Pack again and another trip to Kansas
John
City?
will do it. He's like Babe Ruth.
All right, do you have a date set for the spring game yet? When's spring practice start?
You guys,
you don't know?
No.
These are for the listeners. I got enough on my mind.
We're ready for next year, John.
I understand that. I'm trying to get us ready to go recruit some players, and so we had a great meeting with the staff on Monday, and I haven't laid out our calendar quite yet. I'll do that on Friday, probably.
Okay, this one comes in. It's for Joe. It's addressed to Joe. I'd like to tell Joe that I love reading the newspaper articles about the players and their lives. Makes the fans feel like they know the guys. Do you personally interview the players for these stories?
I do.
Okay.
And it's really kind of fun to... That's why covering college athletics is so fun, because there's so many great stories. And I always tell people the best stories are the ones I haven't told yet. There's great stories on this team. There are stories, and it's not just the football team at csu-pueblo. There are so many great student athletes at that university that come from varied backgrounds and have, they have triumph over tragedy stories, and they overcome. And then you have the ones that are just so unbelievably good. What do you do? But yeah, the college kids are. I've been doing it for so long that when they see me, it's usually a good thing. I told Morgan Fox after every game for 4 years that he might be a good player one day.
Getting closer.
I tell him straight to say, one day you're going to be a good player. And he would just laugh, and that's been kind of our running joke since he was a freshman. And I remember doing a story on Morgan Fox as a freshman because he came from Mitch Johnson's school up in Fountain, Fort Carson, and Fountain's been kind of a nice little pipeline of not only is Mark Herring an assistant coach there, but that school is so close in proximity, and they're very competitive and everything. It's kind of been a nice. There's been one or two players every year from that school.
Yeah, they got great players there, and they do a great job in the classroom, and you want to recruit those type of guys.
Yeah, and so it's just fun. I have a lot of cell phone numbers, and I'll text guys like Kieran and Gary Dixon and guys just to lean on sometimes if I'm not sure where I'm going. But thank you for the compliment. Usually they start those and say, "We love what you're doing, but." And so today
the same listener wants to thank you for helping everybody be a part of the Pack family by some of those stories in the background, and the greater case in point, the McDonald story, their mom.
Oh, how about
Who knew? From Pueblo.
And I feel bad that I didn't know that. And when I talked to her, I spent about an hour and a half with her on the phone. And I said, first of all, I'm offended that you're a Wildcat and I'm a Wildcat, and I didn't know that you were the mother of these. And then we just started talking, and we were laughing. And, when you start talking about... And you and John do it all the time because you went to high school together, and you just reminisce a little bit. And she missed me by a couple of years, but my brother was in school, so we knew some ties or whatever. But it was just a really neat conversation. And talk about a mom who she rides that fence between being proud and being psychotic. She goes, there's a bunch of people who sit there and they're very respectful, and then there's a bunch of people who are very loud in the back, and I'm behind them all screaming. So I said, well, good.
Well, I'm glad we get a keeper for a couple more years.
Yeah,
exactly.
It'd be awesome.
Joe even has one. You got any more in the pipeline?
More? Is it cousins, nephews? What And she just would laugh, and more's enough.
All right.
She's awesome.
She is. She's a fantastic lady, and and it's fun to meet the parents. JT Haddon, when he was a player here, Mr. Haddon, they're not a better individual, and he always brings us food, and guys come to the tailgate. Or when I remember when played over in Grand Junction, he stayed in Glenwood and he fed everybody. Well, the next day he brought Jim and I just this giant care package of food because we didn't go to the team meal or whatever. And he said every time he'd come play, and JT was as quiet as a church mouse, but his parents were great. And Paul Creighton's dad, your former assistant coach.
Man.
We get to meet some really, really neat people.
Bob is special.
Yeah, well, Joe and I, some of our favorite times are on the road when after games, and we've had to stay the night wherever we were at. A couple times in Grand Junction or a couple times in Silver City, and some of the parents show up to the eatery or watering hole wherever we're at, and they recognize we have to talk to them, and you just get to know the people behind the program. Yeah,
we had a beer one time with Joe Rosenbrock's dad. He drove all the way from Brush to go all the way to Grand Junction to watch his kid play, and then he was going to go all the way back. goes, I'm going to spend the night tonight because I wanted to have a beer. So he was sitting there at an Applebee's by himself, and we didn't know, and we just started talking. And this is before he was, the middle linebacker. He was just a linebacker, not the linebacker.
And speaking of in the pipeline, his brother looks pretty good. I watch all these workouts from the CSU-Pueblo strength and conditioning page Alan Hedrick runs, and you get to see a lot of these guys, these redshirt freshmen that are working out. Got a lot of quality guys in the pipeline, John.
Yeah, we're fortunate to have some guys that want to carry on that tradition, and we believe tradition never graduates. And so.
And what's his first name?
Kyle.
Kyle. We saw him at Mines last year.
He's ready to go right now.
He was wearing his brush leather jacket, and he's big. He's good size. He's ready to play. And where are you going to school? And we're like, do we even have to ask that question? But I think he got some D1 looks.
Yeah, he was an exceptional athlete.
Yeah.
He had a chance, I believe, his junior year to win a state championship in wrestling, state championship in basketball, and then I believe baseball.
Wow.
He was right there. And then his senior year, he wins the state championship in football.
All right, John, another tip coming in. Small and sparkly with diamonds equal perfect gift.
I know where that one's from.
Okay. Okay, you two.
Then another one just came in from Rochelle.
Yeah.
Oh, just kidding, Rochelle. Just kidding. Just kidding. Gee, I get away with that one. All right. One other thing. When's National Letter of Intent Day?
The first Wednesday in February, and that's February 3rd.
All right. February 3rd. So we look forward to that. That's always a good time. Probably be at the convention center. I know a couple times they have different places, but the convention, it's kind of outgrown some of the venues we've been in before, so probably be downtown at the convention center for that. Look forward to that.
And you can't even talk about verbal commitments right now, can you?
No.
And I see a lot of that on Twitter. A lot of people that I've committed to CSU Pueblo. I'm proud to say I'm going to be a Thunderwolf. And I always wait until those pan out and see who shows up in August. I mean, not the guys that'll be here in the spring ball. That's always fun. But until I see their pearly whites in August, I don't get too excited.
All right, we got one more segment to go. If you still have a question for the coach, 719-671-7574. We thank everybody that's sending questions tonight, and look forward to some more. We'll talk about, we'll put a bow on this season. It is the Christmas season. We'll put a bow on it when we come back here at Andy Mack's John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo.
The John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
And welcome back. One final segment. The John Wristen Show for the 2015 campaign.
One final segment.
Charlie just came over, right? 12 wins is pretty good, John.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Win 12 games a year, you're doing all right.
You realize that these seniors, in my opinion, have only lost 6 games, 5 games?
2, 3, 5.
5 games.
5 games.
5 games.
Not bad.
Wow.
Why don't you name them off there, John? You got them right in front of you. The seniors that we're going to miss. You're going to have when's the senior banquet, by the way? You have that scheduled?
Yeah, it'll be Thursday, January 21st.
Okay.
Do that. I just want to say thank you to these seniors, and thank you for coming and being a part of the pack and supporting and playing the way that we try to demonstrate. And I think that these guys left a great legacy, and a lot of these guys have been here for 4 or 5 years. And so, we're going to sure miss Tony Campton. We're going to fear the mullet. We got to get someone else to fear the mullet. And,
does he still have it?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if that was just a season thing or.
No, that's his identity. And
okay.
DeAndre Cooper, he fought through a lot of adversity this year, and the $1 million smile he has, and now someone gets a chance to wear number 17, and Kevin Cup coming all the way from Torrey Pines, playing linebacker. Then Gary Dixon, how about Gary Dixon? What a career he's had, and very proud of him. And Kieran Duncan played all 4 years, never redshirted, from out of Arizona, and a special kid. He's going to be a great rider one day. He's got that ability, and I don't know what field he's going to go in, but he's going to be very successful. Next guy, Ben Estica.
Wow.
How about Ben? How about his growth?
Skinny little guy grown into a great linebacker.
I talk about $1 million smile.
Yeah.
Oh, and I got to do that story last week about the life he has now and trying to do everything: football, school, fatherhood, work, and be able to manage it. Sometimes you just tip your cap and say, hey, man.
I'm very proud of Ben and his maturity, and we haven't seen eye to eye all the time, but he's responded to all that. Morgan Fox, what a great career Morgan's had, the all-time sack leader at CSU-Pueblo, and he's another one of these guys that played all 4 years. Just think we had a red shirt with him or Kieran, and what a year. And Patrick Glover, he got hurt. He was a transfer. Another Trayvon Letlow that came back from Achilles injury was able to play the last really 9 games of his career, and what a tough guy, great team guy. Jacob Ludwig, a lot of guys didn't know about Jacob because he was a 4-year, he played as a freshman, or we redshirted Jake, and he was a long snapper, and you realize how valuable he was. And then Zach Martinez, I think Zach's got a chance to play on Sundays. I think he's getting a lot of attention to be able to do that. And Zach came over from Redlands, California, and another great student, has done some things. Cam McDonald, wow. Number 30. What you're going to say? God, where are those runs?
Yeah.
And he's left a legacy of guys. In fact, I was talking to a couple guys today. I says, you want to understand how to play college football and want to be a running back? Yeah, we like to be like number 30. Like to be like number 30.
Yeah.
There you go.
Watching his plays.
You know what made more of it? He played as hard as he did all year long in that fourth quarter of the game, down 31-7. I mean, He was running hard.
Yeah, and again, he's a guy that's a great teammate and who's never about himself. And he's got a chance to win that Harlan Hill, and I hope that happens. Ronell McNeil, who was a guy that been in our program forever and earned a scholarship his last year and played some great special teams and always a great teammate. De'Aaron Moore was a JC transfer we got out of Las Vegas. That's via San Francisco City College. He's grown up in his 2 years, and I'm proud of him. He's done a great job. Greg O'Donnell, Mr. OD. Mr. number 13.
All-time leading scorer, right?
He's an all-time leading scorer here, and he had a great senior year, and I'm proud of OD. I'm going to miss him.
He's a very smart kid, and he's, you see, I talked to him at every practice, all practice for the last 5 years, because he redshirted behind Major, and he, that kid's going to be okay.
Yeah, he's got it figured out, as they say.
Yeah.
I think this next guy, Jared Radenbaugh, I don't know if I can say enough great things because he's so unassuming, but he's always made some great plays. And I'll never forget playing down in Sam Houston in his career. Probably made one of the most unbelievable catches.
Yes.
I still, it was going, he was supposed to run the corner to his right, but the ball came out to his left. He was looking over his right shoulder and had to change and come back and keep his feet and bounce. And that put us up 14-0 on that play. And that was his biggest play. But this kid, he changed positions.
Right. He was a quarterback.
Challenged himself. And he was a fifth-year guy, and he's going to graduate here. And he's just I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss everybody. Joe Rosenbrock, we talked about a little bit from Brush. He says he's originally from Compton. Since he didn't know where Compton was until he came down here to CSU-Pueblo. Started hanging with guys. He's going to be a great math teacher and a coach in high school. And then, Malcolm Rubin. His career never got off the way he would want it to with being injured, but he came here for that vision and be a part. What a great kid, what a great teammate he was. He was always there, want to be a part of it. And so, these are the 18 seniors that I think are very special, and I'm very fortunate to have them in my life and what they've done.
All right, a few more comments and questions coming in. It's really cool to see the guys who hang around Pueblo in the summer working out with part-time jobs plus working out. How many stay around to work out, do you think, this year, or in general, how many work out?
Well, we we'd like to have anywhere from 60 to 70 guys all summer long, and so that's so important for our development. That's really what we talk about in Phase 4 is our most important development is them together working out without the coaches and develop this chemistry. It's a 3-month kind of fun grind for them where they have an opportunity, and we encourage all the kids to stay around the summer, and it always helps them. They have summer jobs or part-time jobs. We're not looking for 40 hours. We're looking for 20, 25 hours a week that these guys can all get jobs and be able to be successful, help pay rent, pay bills, and be able to save some money for the season.
Well, and Joe and I talk about it all the time. One of the things that's most overlooked, I think, with this program, 5 conference championships in a row. We all saw what could happen if you have an off day, which happened Saturday in the quarterfinals, but that day could happen in the conference championship game too any number of times. But the guys have always come through and won 5 championships, and this listener wants to know, got anything special planned for the one for the thumb this year?
No. I think we'll honor our seniors in a senior banquet, but no, nothing like
got a little spoiled last year.
We did last year. I mean, that's you realize right now how special that was.
Well, you taste that and go, you're 2 games away from being back there.
Right, exactly.
You're so close, but winning a championship is hard. But I think repeating or winning a second one has got to be even harder.
All right.
Well, I do think that part of that is what I embraced with these seniors was it's all about us, and we had to have that formula and that idea and that resolve to us, because if we worried about what everybody, hey, congratulations, you're national champs, we're going to go play you, and we've got everybody's best shot, and we have got everybody's best shot, and that's even more a credit to these seniors and the leadership that we had.
Okay, 2 final questions here. Do you have a long snapper lined up for Jake Ludwig, or is that number 1 priority?
Yeah, we got a couple guys lined up, and hopefully we'll get them here.
And then one more on a local note. What are the plans for Kevin Riverich?
Kevin's part of our program, and he's going to be a guy that's got to go and compete.
Yeah.
Kevin's the one who's got his plans. Kevin's got a chance to go and compete and earn a spot, and we're excited for the spring to see what he can do.
And one other one was, how many East Eagles are you going to bring in?
As many that want to come.
There you go.
Shoot.
People think you just walk in, don't they, John? You got to really earn it. But I think there's one in particular. Where's number 10? I don't think you can comment on any specific players yet, but that's one I look at that might have a shot.
Well, I
somewhere.
I think there's a couple.
If he gets away, then you're probably going to go, darn it.
I do think there's a couple players over there that can help us go win a national championship. And,
it's not only East either. You got guys around town. There's a couple are here and there also.
And I think people got to understand, part of the philosophy of recruiting is you want to go get better. And you want to go get better at all your positions. And you don't want to stay status quo. And when you stay status quo, you get your butt beat. And so my challenge to our staff is everything was to get better in 16. And so we can't rest on that we only lost 5 games in 5 years. And we got to make sure that we evaluate everything we're doing and have a chance for us to go get better and have a great 16.
Well, Tony always gives us permission to run a little long. We've run a little long here tonight, but we figured it was warranted with our final show of the year. John, your forum's yours. Your final salute to the fans. How do you want to wrap this year up?
I think that for us to say that we're here and we played football in December kind of says a lot about this program. I think, too, I was excited about our continued fan support. And I'll tell you this, when we go on our pack walks, that's gaining momentum as a fun event as you being a part of it. I want to thank all the pack fans. I want to make sure you understand how we appreciate that. 3, we have special kids. We have special players here. And these seniors, I'm indebted for you for the rest of your life about what you've done for this program, for this community and this university. Make sure you take something out of that. meaning that you check your ego at the door and go to work and go enjoy that. And hopefully you'll remember those times and come back to Pueblo, Colorado. And last thing, I couldn't do it without my special staff. And those guys did a great job of coaching this year. And for us to still have a coach's show the middle of December is pretty special. And I want to thank them. I want to thank my lovely wife for all the support. And I want to thank you guys for covering us. And I'm glad to be the head coach here at csu-pueblo.
Well, we're glad to have you. Joe, final thoughts?
Hey, it's a great ride. It's just a week or two short other than last year, but I've been doing it since 2007 with him, and it just gets better and better.
And we enjoy it immensely. We enjoy being here at Andy Mack's. We look forward to it in the future. We'd like to thank everybody from Andy Mack's. Bloodshot, good job, buddy. All the fans that turn up here each and every week for the John Wristen Show, we appreciate you. All you listeners at home texting questions in as well, we appreciate that. We look forward to doing it next year. Okay, order of business, Fox Sports Pueblo. Move on. It's basketball season. I'll be on the road with the ball club in New Mexico on Friday night. Help me here. 5:15 for the women. 5:30 tip-off against Western New Mexico. The men will follow at 7:30. Then Saturday night we'll be in Silver City. Moved up a little bit there. 4:45 with the pregame show. 5 o'clock tip. 7 o'clock for the men. So that's your Thunderwolves basketball action to come up. We got Broncos football coming up for you on Sunday. And then, of course, Monday nights with Tony Wright each and every Monday right here on Fox Sports Pueblo.
Thanks, Bloodshot.
For everybody at Andy Mack's, for Dax Larson, the sports information director, for Joe Folda, the athletic director, John Wristen, Joe Cervi, our producer and engineer, Tony Wright. Great call on the high school game Saturday, Tony. And look forward to talking to you on down the line. I'll talk to you from New Mexico on Friday night. But good job, Tony, as always. For Joe Cervi, for the head coach, John Wristen, for all of our fans, I'm Jim Brooks. Good night, everybody.
Go Pack.